काम करो ऐसा कि एक पहचान बन जाए, हर कदम ऐसा चलो कि निशान बन जाए। यहाँ ज़िंदगी तो हर कोई काट लेता है, ज़िंदगी जियो इस कदर कि मिसाल बन जाए। A very good afternoon to all and a warm welcome to a much awaited Research Excellence Award ceremony, this one being 5th in a row, to recognize the extraordinary talent and commitment demonstrated by the researchers of Delhi Technological University.
या कुंदेन्दु तुषार हार धवला या शुभ्र वस्त्रावृता.
Research discovers and evaluates new knowledge, ideas, and the technologies essential in driving the future of society and humanity. Without research, a relevant and modern curriculum does not exist. There seems no limit to research, for as been truly said, the more the sphere of knowledge grows, the larger becomes the surface of contact with the unknown. No university can progress, no education system can be complete without a strong research culture. The Research Excellence Awards is a motivational and inspirational initiative taken by our former Vice Chancellor, Professor Yogesh Singh, in 2018, which now happens annually, this one being 5th in the row. And it has created healthy competitive environment amongst the researchers. This event truly showcases the commitment that all the faculties and students have shown towards research. This year was indeed a very busy and a very different year for all of us. Everyone worked really hard towards the paper publication process, since due to COVID pandemic, the status of the paper on the journal portals had not gone under review for quite a long, and many a times came back even without undergoing a review process. But whatever said and done, our faculties and students did a splendid work with a total of 304 research papers this year. Now I would take this opportunity to express our hearty thanks to our Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir, Professor J.P. Saini, for his dynamic leadership and providing a thought-provoking environment at every stage in the organization of this research award ceremony. We are extremely fortunate that Professor Ramesh Goyal, Honorable Vice Chancellor of the first Pharmaceutical Sciences and Research University of India, situated in Delhi, has kindly accepted our invitation to be the chief guest for this award ceremony. Sir, we extend a very warm welcome to you. May I now request Vidushi to welcome our chief guest. On behalf of the DTU fraternity, I extend our most cordial welcome to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir, Professor J.P. Saini. We thank you, sir, for your graceful presence on this occasion. May I call Sonali to welcome our VC, sir. May I now request Anjali to welcome our Dean IRD, sir, Professor Ashutosh Trivedi. Next, can we have Shivani to welcome our Registrar, Sir, Professor Madhusudan Singh. Next, may I have Vidushi to welcome our Associate Dean IRD, Professor Ruchika Malhotra. Professor Ashutosh Trivedi, Dean, Industrial Research and Development, and a professor in the Department of Civil Engineering, is on the editorial board of two eminent scholarly international journals. He has supervised a number of PhD and MTech research scholars, along with the prestigious consultancy and research projects. He has 2 patents to his credit in the national phase and 2 PCTs at the World Intellectual Property Organization. May I now request our high-spirited Dean IRD, sir, to welcome one and all present here.
Honorable Vice Chancellor, Delhi Technological University and NSUT, Professor Jayaprakash Saini, Professor Ramesh Kumar Goyal, Vice Chancellor, Delhi Pharmaceutical Science and Research University, Professor R.K. Sinha, who is the Vice Chancellor of Gautam Buddha University. He is present among this today's program. And we are really honored by the presence of so many research scholars and faculty members who have made this occasion great in past 5 years. And this occasion has become such a prominent importance, that has gained such a prominent importance because of the fact of support of so many researchers, which is whopping number right now, 1,700. You can realize that we are moving towards a research university. Now, this such a number has come out, 1,400 research scholars and 300 faculty members. So it comes out to be around 1,700. And there is a 304 around, this is the number for which the number of the applicants have applied for the purpose of this award. And a good number out of which some of the faculty members may not have got this opportunity or may not have got this information to submit right at the time. And many of the, due to the criteria that requires that this is the condition for the application, some of the applications may not have been shortlisted. So the total number of the applications or total number of publications are quite large, and which can be shared with you by our Vice Chancellor, that what is significant increase this university has seen in past 5 years. Now, this is one very interesting fact that I would like to share with you, that 5 years ago, this was first and the foremost experiment that we started in this country to initiate the research award. And this has taken around 1.5 years for continuous discussion among the faculty members of the university, among the deans, among the head of the departments, the scholars, and we shared all this idea all across the faculty and academia to give their inputs. And by having this kind of input, we could bring about this research award, which has become almost a export brand award, and many other universities in Delhi, they have now assimilated in their own self. I would call for other universities to give citation to our research award, that this was the first research award and they have initiated. This is a good practice that must go through. Now, we always, there is a great importance in the research that we attach to the citations. And citations are also a kind of acknowledgement to our predecessors that we give. And giving right kind of citation is treated to be one of the most honest and ethical exercise in entire research process. And right now, in the prominent universities of the world, they give this research ethics one of the most prominent feature of the university, so that entire community of their students, entire community of the faculty members, entire community of the researchers, they get into it and practice it in such a manner that there is no single problem due to this kind of activity which can be questionable. So the research has got such an acknowledgement, and when we are writing at the end of the research paper, that is the citations, that is references, acknowledgement, conflict of interest, and we acknowledge the funding organization, we really do a great and good practice that can be inculcated in the entire university process. So one part is there that we started it 4 years ago, is studying varied practices worldwide. One of the practice that is taken up by the Higher Education Commission of the UK, it uses this particular criteria as to give the award of the grant. Now, the same thing for the grant can be utilized for the award. And there is a division whether we can give award to those kind of journals and publications which seek certain kind of APC, or that is article processing charges. So first criteria was to decry or to debar or to separate out or to filter out that particular segment which seeks article processing charges. So by the article processing charges separation of this particular criteria brings about that there can be certain segment of the research papers which is not necessarily oriented or directed by the business interest. So we separated. One group was for the society model, another group was for the business interest, that is similar to, like, we know it is Elsevier, which is the biggest giant among them, and Springer, Wiley, etc. So this award, later on, we also identified that there can be a set of the publication which can be given due credit. They are coming from the sciences and management. So there was a outstanding research award that was given for the sciences, journals from the sciences and management, Harvard Business Review. And by our practice of the 5 years, we see that we could not get even a single publication in that particular domain. So that also validates our early proposition that outstanding has to remain outstanding, and it remained outstanding for these 5 years. Second criteria, that is the Premier Research Award. In this, we shortlisted old societies, and we identified that in 1800 or something, some of these societies started, some of these societies that has started in 19th century also. So together, there were some of the societies which gave a great impact on the development of entire civilization. Now these societies were brought together, and once one of the criteria is that if that particular society changes its policy to remain in Puritan form of scientific commitment and purity, they have migrated towards business model. So those citation houses or those societies were not considered in the later phase of the analysis, or they were not considered for the award. Now, there are two societies which faced it. One is IET, yet another is IMechE, which shifted their commitment to the society model to the business model. And we are bringing it to the community of researchers in a way that they are more knowledgeable, because every year we get a set of applications and requests that why not you do consider once again these societies into the entire spectrum of the research awards. So it is to allay them and to satisfy them time and again that it is the reason, and we are bonded by the rules and regulations and the guidelines. And that is how it is not in the hand of the research committee. It does, and one of the criteria that it gives that every 5 years or so, it can be revised, it can be modified, and yet another committee can look into it, whether we need to include inclusive. And one more criteria was that one impact factor. They must qualify, even if society model is there, and if they qualify above the one impact factor, we considered it. Remember that there were some of the societies where we included this criteria that crossed the barrier of 1, and there was average impact factor, or you can call it to be some median value, where we could not make it pass for the segment number 2, that is called the Premier Research Award. So this was the thinking behind the research awards. And then there was the issue of the intellectual property right that was discussed, deliberated, and wide-ranging inputs we received on the intellectual property right. And because the intellectual property right is once again associated with certain kind of business models, like because you have to go for the litigation, you have to seek what kind of supplication they can do in order to taking away this kind of intellectual property right in terms of money, it was decided that we can consider it at a later stage. And probably that stage has come when we can consider it that how we can include this kind of award. So this is the brief history of the awards at Delhi Technological University, and we are happy and we are really delighted that such a great support is received from the faculty members and scholars. And it was never possible without such a kind of encouragement to carry forward this award for the last 5 years. So I'm really thankful to all of you for becoming part of it. One more important issue is there, that in particularly we have got attention. That is, the research award are the domain of those people who have been very attentive and very qualitative in their outputs. And this kind of qualitativeness comes in concentrating your idea towards one particular issue and its refinement over the period of time. And when we come about it, I would like to quote a very small book is there that is known as Monkey Mind. And Monkey Mind talks about, and it is not a book only in one language, it is used in many other languages, namely in Japanese also there is a language, that is a book, Monkey Mind. It always talks about that if you can control this mind, because mind is lost into so many noise, so much of the filter is required always to truncate the kind of noise that is coming in the form of news, in the form of social media, in the form of our friends. So the most successful people truncate these kind of noise. And the monkey mind was identified by Charles Darwin, and he gave a very important theory, that is evolution of a species. When he thought about that how a monkey can be converted into human being, and he got this idea carried forward. And if you have gone through a book, very famous book, that is Sapiens, it talks about how the memes are carried out, genetic transformation takes place even in the biological species. So this kind of concentration, and particularly I'm talking about what the kind of references he missed. Darwin missed this kind of reference, that is the Hanuman Chalisa. In Hanuman Chalisa also what we do, every day we say, Siri Guru Charan Saroj Raja Nij Man Mukari Sudhari. So what we talk about, that if we can concentrate our energies, if we can funnel and direct our energies, our monkey mind can be converted into the qualitative content of like Sri Ram. So thank you very much for your attentive span and listening my speech. And I'm again thankful to the Vice Chancellors who have come, faculty members, staff who have come and joined this function. Thank you very much.